Most people who are bad with money know it. But the people this video is really about. They have a budget, they avoid unnecessary debt, they clip coupons, they buy in bulk, they have a savings account, they do everything right. And somehow, they're still stuck. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the financial habits that feel the most responsible are quietly bleeding you dry, and we're going to prove it with real numbers. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly which smart moves are costing you thousands, and in some cases, tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. We're going to go through 6 of the most common ones. Stick around because number 4 is the one most people never see coming. Let's start with a story. Meet Rachel. Rachel has 2 debts: a credit card with a $5,000 balance at 22% interest, and a student loan for $15,000 at 4% interest. She decides to be responsible and tackle the biggest debt first, the student loan. She throws every extra dollar at it. Feels great, right? Except while she's doing that, that credit card is compounding at nearly double the rate, quietly piling on hundreds of dollars in interest every single month. This is called the debt avalanche trap, or more specifically, ignoring it. The mathematically correct move is always to attack the highest interest rate debt first, regardless of the balance size. If Rachel had flipped her strategy, she'd have saved over $3,000 in interest alone over a 3-year payoff period. $3,000, just from changing the order. Now let's talk about bulk buying, the Costco effect. There's a version of this that makes total sense. If you're buying toilet paper or canned goods in bulk, yes, the unit cost is lower and you save money. But most people don't stop there. They walk into a warehouse store and bulk buy perishables, seasonal items, or things they wouldn't normally use, just because it feels like savings. The number 1 rule of a deal: if you buy something you didn't need, you didn't save money. You spent money. A University of Arizona study found that Americans throw away about 40% of their food supply. A significant portion of that waste comes from overbuying. If your household spends $600 a month on groceries and wastes even 15% of it, that's over $1,000 a year in literal garbage. Bulk buying can save you money, but only if you actually use everything you buy. Otherwise, you're not shopping smarter. You're just overpaying in bulk. Here's one that stings a little. A lot of people are proud of their savings account. They see that growing balance and feel secure, responsible, and security matters. But here's what most banks don't advertise loudly. The average traditional savings account in the United States pays around 0.5% interest. Meanwhile, inflation runs at roughly 3% per year on average. Do the math. If you have $20,000 sitting in a low-yield savings account, you're effectively losing around $500 in purchasing power every single year. High-yield savings accounts, money market accounts, treasury bills, or even conservative index fund allocations can return anywhere from 4% to 7% with minimal effort. The difference between doing nothing and doing something with that $20,000 over 10 years is staggering. We're talking potentially $15,000 to $20,000 in additional returns. The safe move of doing nothing is, ironically, one of the riskiest things you can do with your money. Okay, let's talk about insurance, because this one trips up a lot of responsible, well-intentioned people. Insurance is important, nobody disputes that. But there's a version of insurance purchasing that crosses from responsible into expensive, over-insuring low-risk items. Extended warranties on electronics, collision coverage on a 12-year-old car worth $2,000, dental insurance plans that cost more annually than any dental work you'd realistically need. Consumer Reports has found that extended warranties are almost never worth it. Retailers push them so hard precisely because the profit margins are enormous. Here's a better framework. Insurance should cover catastrophic, life-altering events, things you genuinely cannot absorb financially. For everything else, put that premium money into a self-insurance fund. Your own emergency account earmarked for small repairs and replacements. You'll almost certainly come out ahead. Let's talk about frugality. Because yes, you can be too frugal, and it can cost you real money. This is sometimes called being penny-wise and pound-foolish. Think about the person who drives across town to save 12 cents per gallon on gas, burning fuel and time to get there. or the person who buys the cheapest possible version of everything, replacing it twice as often as someone who bought a quality item once. Time is money. Quality sometimes saves money. Frugality without strategy is just cheap, and cheap is often expensive. There's also an opportunity cost side to extreme frugality that most people overlook. If you spend 3 hours every week price comparing, hunting deals, and optimizing grocery runs, and your time is worth even $15 an hour, you're spending over $2,000 worth of time annually. If that effort saves you $500, you're net negative by $1,500. Not every saving is worth the cost of getting it. And then there are coupons. Now, coupons can be genuinely useful, but research from consumer behavioral economists consistently shows something fascinating. People who use coupons regularly tend to spend more overall, not less. Why? Because coupons are designed to get you to buy things you weren't already going to buy at a discount that still generates a profit for the brand. A $2 coupon on a product you didn't need means you spent money, not saved it. There's also the brand loyalty trap embedded in coupons. You end up paying $5 for a name brand item with a $1 coupon when the store brand was $3 to begin with. You saved $1 and still lost $1. The coupon made you feel smart while the brand pocketed the difference. Always compare the post-coupon price to the actual cheapest alternative, not just to the original price of that product. So what do you actually do with all of this? Let's make it simple. Pay off debt in order of highest interest rate first, not highest balance. When bulk buying, only do it for non-perishables you're already buying regularly. Move cash you won't need for 6 months or more into a high-yield account or equivalent. Audit your insurance policies annually, and drop coverage that costs more than the realistic risk. Be strategic with your time, not just your dollars. The biggest shift here isn't about any one of these habits, it's about questioning the feeling of responsibility. Feeling responsible and being financially effective are not always the same thing. The most dangerous money mistakes aren't the obvious ones, they're the ones that feel virtuous. That's what makes them so costly and so hard to catch. If this video made you rethink even one financial habit, that's already worth more than you might realize. Because compounded over years, small corrections become massive outcomes. If you want to go deeper on any of these topics, there's a full breakdown in our other videos on the debt avalanche method and high-yield savings strategies. And if you found this useful, the best thing you can do is share it with someone who thinks they have their finances figured out. They might need this more than they know.